And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, it's 2020, and I was thinking, being like, maybe I should try out some different intros for this one for a new year. Like, welcome to the comic multiverse where we always throw a coin to our Witcher. Oh, welcome to the comic multiverse. This is the way. And then I'm thinking, like, nah, I'll never be able to keep that fresh and current. Who do I think I am?
Uh, Welcome to the comic multiverse, where Joel's camera is always a problem.
I don't know why is it only ever when we're doing a show together? It's never when I do it on my own.
I
It's
know.
never when I do
Yeah,
anything else.
yep.
It's it's always this. It's the damnedest thing. Again, do I need to upgrade to a new one? Do we need to have a Kickstarter, get Joel a better camera? It's a Logitech. It was a really good one when I got it.
Same with mine. Mine's a Logitech. I've had mine for years, never changed it.
I think you and I have the same one. I think when you become a video podcaster streamer, this is part of like the starter kit. You get this, you get a blue Yeti, you get a gamer chair, you get it all together, I'm pretty sure.
I don't have a blue lady. I splurged and got a Rode microphone, bit better
I
quality.
have a I have a very nice mic that a fan was cool enough to get me. It's a condenser mic, but I need an actual amp to run it. That's how powerful it is, and I haven't been able to afford the amp yet. I'm working on it, but you know. So how you been, Matt, since last we spoke?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I got out to see a couple of movies this week. I saw that
Huh?
new underwater movie, which
Oh
was
yeah, I heard that was actually pretty solid.
for a movie that came out in fuck you, it's January. It's not too bad. It's no Oscar contender, but it's not too
No.
bad. And I'm a sucker for like
Sometimes
giant monster underwater kaiju stuff. So yeah.
natural. I mean, alien pastiches. That happens sometimes too with these movies, where it's not always studios dumping their garbage in January. Sometimes it's dumping the movies they don't understand or don't have any faith in. And
Mhm.
that underwater movie was clearly shelved for a number of years because T.J. Miller is in it.
Yeah. Oh, he's in it for about 20 minutes. So
Is he the first guy who gets killed?
no, he's not. A black man is the first one to get killed because it's a horror film.
Because it's a horror movie, and naturally, oh, thank you, Party Pug. I just saw that come across the thing. Is that a blazing fire behind Matt? I don't know, Matt. Is that the
No,
sun or is that just
that's just my LED lights behind my TV.
okay?
It
Matt's
could
not in
easily be
trouble, everyone.
mistaken, but for a fire in this current climate.
Matt, you should really milk that. Where it's like, look, you see that behind me? It looks like an LED light, but it's actually the blazing Australian fires. You need to give me
I'll
bits to
just
put
turn
out
it.
the fire.
I'll turn. Oh no, it's a fire now because it's red.
Yeah, really. What other movies did you see?
What else did I see? I saw that uh was it Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
Oh yeah. I watched a couple clips of that there. What did you say on Twitter? What was your Twitter review?
It
Man, this movie is just one cameo after
it
another.
is. It's just these two characters that shouldn't be in a movie anymore, just walking from one scene to another. Where there's, hey, that's Ben Affleck. Hey, that's Matt Damon, and we'll move to the next scene. I tell you what, the Ben Affleck scene was pretty hilarious. He makes a Martha joke.
That's what everyone tells me. And then at the same time, too, I'm stopping and thinking about it. I'm like, well, the first Jay and Silent Bob was a giant self-referential cameo fest as well. And from the clips I see, they're actively making fun of the fact that they shouldn't be movies anymore. And don't they like cast Kevin Smith as the de facto villain this time around?
He's not really. He's like the cliche shitty Hollywood director, like the Hollywood version of Kevin
Himself.
Smith. But yeah, it's like the first film, but with more nepotism.
Which, I mean, again, sure, why not? I
And they
mean,
do
it
make a
seems like,
nepotism joke, but it comes too late in the film to be funny.
oh, that's a shame. Again, I don't hate Kevin Smith as much as I used to when it's just like, oh, he's such a wasted opportunity. He could have been great. Now it's more like, nah, he's just kind of more of a podcaster like me now, isn't he? And he makes the movies he wants to make for the audience that wants to see them, and I
Hmm.
kind of gotta respect him for that.
Yeah, he's found his niche.
And he does really good TV episodes every so often. He's actually had a great career renaissance as a what is it, as a TV writer, and also thank you Party Pug too. I saw you come down, and thank you to
Yeah.
Tevi as well. seeing all those coming down the pipeline. Again, I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he directs another CW episode. I wonder if he'll finally get to direct Arrow now, because apparently they don't. They never wanted him to direct one of those.
Well, Arrow's finishing. They'd have to direct one of those, one of the spin-off episodes if that actually succeeds.
Black Canary and the so-and-sos,
Yeah.
which makes me laugh so hard, because it's like, dude, even if you don't like Kevin Smith as a writer, director, like, he wrote Green Arrow, man. He wrote the book.
That's what I don't understand, why they didn't want him doing an Arrow episode. Like, this guy wrote like a really damn good Green Arrow story.
You've used characters and stuff from his run in your thing. The hell, that's so weird. But I'm not gonna dig up old stuff with Arrow. In fact, hey, speaking of CW, what is it? Next Tuesday, we get our big Crisis finale.
Tomorrow, actually, as we record
right.
this.
Right, because we record it late Sunday night, and it's it's the future where Matt is. Everyone, got to get back there. We got to get back to that future. Well, was that it? Did you see any other movies?
What else did I see? I was going to go see 1917, but that I didn't get a chance to see that. What else did I see?
Did we talk about Uncut Gems? Have you seen that yet?
Oh, yeah, no, I saw that. I saw that like a couple of days after it came out. It was brilliant. Fantastic.
Oh, it's fucking dope as hell. Isn't it going to be weird when we all say Academy Award nominee for Best Actor Adam Sandler?
It would be even better if Academy Award winner for Best Actor Adam Sandler.
From the maker of from the maker of The Ridiculous Six and Sandy Wexler.
I did see an interview, I think it was for the Golden Globes, with him and Brad Pitt, where they just sit down and sort of interview each other. They had such a good rapport. I love a film with them together.
My review of Uncut Gems, when I saw it, again, I put this up on Twitter, so maybe you've heard or seen it already, but is basically, I've never done cocaine before in my life, but I can only assume the manic energy and feelings that you feel watching that movie is what it's like to be on coke 24/7.
Oh, yeah, Adam Sandler never stops.
No, they literally drop you in the movie. They don't even tell you his name right away.
No. And
you just see all this stuff introduced to you, and you just follow him on this day that just never fucking stops.
Yeah, and the best thing as well, I was reading about the directors who made it. A lot of the people who are in like the FedEx guy and just like people around them are actual people who work in the Diamond District.
Oh. That's pretty good. They did feel very, very authentic.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. Like I said, it's a total coke high until you come down from it at the end, and it hits you so fucking hard.
Oh yeah, I did not expect that ending. I did not. I thought, oh, he's won the bet. He's gonna like pay off his debt and everything. I'm like, oh crap, that's not exactly what happens at all.
My favorite thing about that movie is, again, because they don't tell you anything right away and you got to figure it out as it goes along, that one of the loan sharks after him for money is his friggin' brother-in-law.
Yeah. Like when that find out, I'm like, oh wow, this is really interesting. They just didn't bother like explaining any of that. That's really cool.
You figure it out at a point, and I'm like, man, that's gotta suck if you're a degenerate gambler and one of your loan sharks is your brother-in-law. That means you're never getting away, and he always knows where you are. But yeah, Uncut Gems is great, everyone. Go see Uncut Gems at some point. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I guess from there we can hop into what's into the news this week. We had no other old business.
No.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work on stuff on my end. I want to get a new episode of the story so far up because I've made new thumbnails for it. And that's creatively how I kick myself in the ass. If I make myself a nice new thumbnail, I'm like, man, that's great. Now I got to actually attach a video to this.
Yeah, you did it on Batman Universe, which you finally read.
Finally did. I had just enough room this week to be like, all right, time to go back and read something from 2019. It's really good. You were totally right about it. I cannot believe that is the same Brian Michael Bendis who's been stinking up Superman and everything else.
Yeah, now you got to do the Tom King Up in the Sky Superman book.
That's next. I will keep you all up to date on that. I made that thumbnail too, so all the more reason I need to do it. But yeah, I guess from there we can hop into the news this week. And there was actually quite a lot of happenings this week, Matt. This was a fairly eventful week, all things considered.
Yeah, kind of sad news, though, on a lot of these things.
Absolutely. Again, it's going to be a little Marvel slanted, but I promise there's DC stories here too. I guess the big piece of news that everyone's still digesting and digging through right now: Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness lost its director.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere, apropos of nothing. And I can only assume too, the articles I read haven't been talking about this, but I'm assuming they're a package deal. They lost the director, which means they're also going to lose his friend, the writer, C. Robert Cargill, who wrote the first Doctor Strange. I imagine they're probably going to lose him too on the project.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the script is already written because like the movie starts shooting in, I think it was August or April or something.
That's another thing. Apparently, there's like some major timetable issues on this because this movie has to coincide with that WandaVision show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they think that may have been one of the contributing factors as to why the director, whose name is escaping me at the moment, and I don't know
Derrickson.
why. Scott Derrickson, thank you. That maybe that's one of the reasons Derrickson dropped out, because he felt put under the gun and put under pressure to be like, okay, not only do you have to make a movie, but you got to kick in the turbos to make this movie because it's part of a bigger multimedia project with this new show.
Then there's the fact that like he's a horror director, and like we've been heard that this film will feature horror scenes. It's not a horror film, but it'll feature horror scenes, and maybe he wanted to do a bit more of that because that's like his wheelhouse and he's really good at it, but maybe they wouldn't let him.
Super excited about it.
Yeah, and I know he put a tweet out not too long ago where he said something about deadlines being the, I don't know, cancer of creativity or something along those lines. So I'm having to think that that's what this is about.
Naturally, and because this is the internet age too, everyone has an interview to point to be like, oh, this is the problem right here, this is what started. I think it was at Comic-Con when he was talking all excited about the movie. It's like, oh yeah, it's going to be a horror movie, we're going to push the envelope a little bit more, it's going to be scarier, only to have Kevin Feige like a couple rows down pipe up and say, but it's going to be PG-13 though, where it's like, ooh, that's like, friggin' hold your horses, know your place, sir.
That was the thing. Feige kept like reiterating that it's got to have horror elements in it, but it's not a horror film, so don't go in. And he just kept saying that. Well, Scott Derrickson was saying, no, it's a horror film.
Which feels a little rough, because it's like, come on, guys, I already made you one movie your way. For this sequel, let me have some fun and, stretch my legs and, put a little of my own personality on it. Because, again, I enjoy Doctor Strange enough, but it wasn't really my favorite Marvel movie. I think I can count the number of times I've watched it on one hand. And I think one of my problems with it is that, it did play it kind of safe and it did play it a little close to the chest. I would have liked it to get a little even more experimental and a little bit more out there. And it's a shame that, again, they had to split up because of irreconcilable creative differences.
Yeah, he is staying on as an executive producer though, which is, I guess, like good. Maybe he could come back for the third one or something.
Yeah, there you go. And I guess, as with any situation like this, the question then becomes, who do you think could possibly replace him? Who is in the Disney machine right now who they could tap for this one?
I don't know. With such like a tight deadline, they'd need someone to come on like they'd have to have someone already on the film. They just haven't announced it to be able to like get it all ready to get set for that deadline to actually meet that deadline.
Brett Ratner.
Call up Ron Howard.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ron Howard. Hey man, you've saved similarly, cursed productions. You can come on in and help us out, can't you?
I said it won't happen because he's busy with other films, but I'd like to see David F. Sandberg. The guy who directed Shazam.
And made some very scary scenes in Shazam too, which is what blows me away when they're like, oh yeah, creative differences, maybe he wanted it to be too scary. I'm like, well, Shazam was pretty scary in parts too, and that was like PG-13. You mean you can't even have anything as scary as that? That's unfortunate. That's a weird content thing, but all right.
There you go. Party Puck says Martin Scorsese. Yes.
Martin. Yes, because he loves all of these movies and would happily throw his hat into the ring for the culture, is what he would do. He's like, don't even pay me, I'm doing it for the culture, is what he would say. Man, that interview that's going around the internet of him, when again, I don't know why they keep asking him questions about superhero movies, but he basically comes in and says, "Look, I don't care if it's Marvel or DC, fuck them both."
Or it's because like it's that gets that easy clicks on these websites. So you'll never believe what Martin Scorsese says about this film.
You'll never believe what he said this time. He said that the last 3 times, and I did believe it. But yeah, I hope they get someone cool and interesting for Doctor Strange. And obviously, this is big news because for the most part, when Marvel says they're going to make a movie with a person, they make it. You can count, again, the people who didn't end up making their movies, again, on one hand because it happens so rarely.
Yeah, it's not something that, happens often. And yeah, there's like Patty Jenkins, Edgar Wright, and I think that's like the only two I can think of off the top of my head.
And again, for similar creative reasons is what it ultimately came down to. And I mean, I guess good on Derrickson too for, sticking to his guns and being like, no, I'd like to make this one my way. And if I can't, I'll go elsewhere. I already made one Doctor Strange. I can understand having your hands tied creatively a little bit the first time out and being like, well, it's good to say I directed a Marvel movie because everyone in Hollywood wants to direct a Marvel movie or star or write or what have you.
Yeah, and again, like I totally understand how, like, because he would, as you said, like this ties into WandaVision and then probably something else, and then there's the sequel, and like all these things they got to balance in this film where he probably just wanted it just to be like a Doctor Strange film.
Yeah, well, more power to him wherever he goes. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be talking about him sometime next year, and he's directed a new cool horror movie.
Yeah, Sinister 4 or whatever he's doing.
Yeah, Sinister 4. Thank you for sinistering. Sinister 4, the new batch. Sinister 4, the new generation.
The Secret of the Sinister.
Oh, there you go. Man, I love that game where it's like how many sequel subheadings can you get in there? Sinister 4, Revenge of Sinister. Now, moving on from there, we have another Marvel story with a similarly bit of production in disarray right now, perhaps even more in disarray, and that is the Hawkeye show, which again feels like it should be so easy to get done, so easy to make happen, and yet now the show seems to be delayed indefinitely is the word I was hearing.
Yeah, well, I heard it's delayed indefinitely, but then after that, reports came out that said that it's not. So it's very confusing. Very confusing. Yeah, we obviously don't know why. Maybe something to do with that whole Jeremy Renner thing that happened. I've heard people say it's because they haven't narrowed down who their Kate Bishop will be.
I mean, wasn't it going to be Haley Steinfeld? Weren't they certain about that?
She keeps saying like she's not doing it, but that could be just like one of those negotiation tactic thingies.
I'm holding out for more money. People already got excited for me. Now give me more money.
Yeah. Well, as well, I'm not too concerned if this show's on hold, definitely, because it was the last one announced, I believe. So it's still got a ways to go before it gets into production.
That's true. I mean, I'm a Hawkeye fan. I'm a Kate Bishop fan. I would have liked to have seen this Matt Fraction stuff brought to life, but I can wait a little bit longer. I mean, really, giving Hawkeye a show, giving Black Widow a movie feels like kind of like a bit of housekeeping from the first decade of the Marvel Universe, where it's like, well, it's only right that we give them their moment.
Yeah.
Again, we waited this long, but that's fine. Again, I think it's so funny that, if, and again, I don't know, this is all rumor and conjecture that, the Jeremy Renner ex-wife gun controversy, if that ended up being true, and that is the reason that they've stalled on this, and whatever, it's so funny where it's like, no, we need Renner to be Hawkeye in this. Why? So we can pass the torch to another Hawkeye. We need him here so it doesn't have to be him anymore.
Yeah, this is the whole point of that show.
That's the whole point, and I'm sure whoever is working on this is just like friggin' hitting their head off the concrete, where it's like, and the funny workarounds where it's like, okay, can we CG him in? Can we like recut some other scenes that he's been in to make it look like he's there when he's not? Can we get him to literally call in his lines from rehab or wherever he is? Listen, Kate, I'm Clint Barton. I'm calling you on the phone, and we'll only be calling you on the phone from here on out. Look, can we go to whatever, like Celebrity Halfway House or Rehab or wherever he may have ended up? Can we just like go there and film Hawkeye wherever he is?
He got like the like video conference. He's got like the ankle bracelet on. He's got the orange jumpsuit. And
there you go. Look, we'll just write it into the story. Look, Hawkeye ended up going to jail for, I don't know, completely unrelated reasons. And we needed to work it out. And again, too, where it's like, is anything else really jockeying for Jeremy Renner's time? Because I couldn't imagine what else it was. As far as I knew, him and his business partner actually made the bulk of their money in Hollywood real estate, and he just kind of acted on the side.
Yeah, he's like a home renovator or something.
Yeah, he's got like a bunch of really good Hollywood real estate that he like bought really cheap and flipped really good. And this whole Avengers gig was just kind of gravy, which is why it always surprised me more that they didn't get him for more cameos. I'm like, well, why doesn't he just show up more often, man?
He also had, I think it's closed down now, but he had like an app as well, a Jeremy Renner app.
Really? What's the Jeremy
You got to
Renner
look up
app?
videos. I can't remember who did it, but these two guys did like a review or like had a look at the app, and it was basically Instagram where the only user was Jeremy Renner.
That's kind of hilarious. Man,
and you had to pay money as well to like get like I guess it's like Twitch like bits sort of thing to like comment and stuff. Yeah.
Man, Instagram sucks, but the Jeremy Renner Instagram app is much better.
Yeah. I think it got closed down because of like, I don't know, sexual predators or something.
No, isn't there always? Sexual predators ruin everything. quote from the comic multiverse you can put on the back of something. You can take that one to the bank, the money bank. That's where you can take that one. But yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more about this Hawkeye show as it happens. It's a bit of a bummer, but also, yeah, you can kind of understand why. But also, it's okay because they can basically put on this show whenever. And I don't imagine they were putting any particular world-building stuff in the Hawkeye show, minus Kate Bishop, of course, should they want to make a Young Avengers team or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think that was like the thing, like Kate Bishop will appear here and then in later films she'll show up. And I think that was basically all the tie-in that show was going to do.
Yeah, which again, I'm sure, hurts their timetable. Because I'm sure they're just like, yeah, we need to get in, we need to do that.
Yeah.
Tevye being Chicken Little right now. What is there? Is the MCU dying? No. They have several new projects coming out that are going to make a ton of
just
money.
because two things are mucking up doesn't mean that's the thing. That's the thing I've been hearing like over the last couple of days. Because of these two things, the MCU is now dying. It's dying off. It's finished. It's not. No way.
They ran a well-oiled machine for over a decade and are now running into the regular kind of Hollywood pitfalls that everyone runs into. It's just big news because they're not used to this sort of thing happening.
Yeah, if this was to happen like after Iron Man 1, then I would say it's probably faltering. But yeah, it's not.
I mean, come on. What is it? Flash has had how many directors already?
Oh, like, I want to say 6, 7.
What about that Gambit movie, Matt? When's the Gambit movie coming out? Somewhere they're still working on that Gambit movie somewhere.
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
Just sitting by the phone. Any day now, they're going to call me. Any day now. Hey, that's actually a really good segue. Speaking of the Gambit movie that's never coming out, let's talk about that last X-Men movie that actually is coming out, and that is New Mutants. It had a trailer this week, and it had a little more stuff as well.
It had a trailer that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I put off watching it for the longest time because, again, I was just so, like, indifferent to New Mutants. I'm like, who the fuck cares? It's not going to amount to anything. It's not going to be connecting to anything. I already have to see enough superhero stuff just so I'm up on the lore and continuity. Why am I going to see an extra one that doesn't matter? But I did end up seeing it because for like a hot minute there on the internet, for like 15 minutes, everyone was like, oh, Marvel announces that New Mutants will be how they get the X-Men into the MCU, only to have to print a retraction and be like, oh, no, sorry, that's a typo. They actually meant the opposite of that.
Yeah, it never was going to be. Never was.
No, because why on earth would Disney Marvel, who has run everything on their own, put this through a movie that got re-edited a dozen times and got shelved? It makes no sense.
That being said, if they do, when they eventually do bring the mutants in and stuff, I would like to see the woman who plays Magic in this film taken over, because she looks exactly like Magic from the comics.
Even her attitude is pretty solid too.
Yeah.
She is really good. I'm glad you and I both agree on that one, that she's fucking great. And they even tease, they're like, oh yeah, she's gonna get her sword, she's gonna do the sword thing.
Yeah, Lockheed was in the trailer as well.
Yeah. As Party Pug in the chat says, excited for the next trailer 3 years from now.
Yeah, after the films come out.
Man, see, that's
this is
the thing
a new
about
trailer.
That's what they really need to do with New Mutants. They need to not release it. They just need to come out with a new trailer every 3 years and make this like the legendary movie that's always coming out. Oh, goddamn. That would actually get me to see it, where they're like, no, it's done. It's here. It looks all right, but you can't see it, though. It's a mystery movie. Ooh, you know what they need to do? They need to, like, tour it around and have, like, big events with it, where it's like, ooh, one night only, New Mutants here in this parking lot.
Or, you know, what they do is they show, like, 20 minutes of the movie here, then stop it, and then play the next 20 minutes at another place, and the next 20 minutes, until the whole and then you've got to, like, get together with your friends and be like, okay, what part did you see? Or what part did you... And make the movie yourself.
Make it a traveling road show, I agree. Make it like one of those augmented reality games where you can unlock the movie 5 minutes at a time. Just get really fucking weird and cryptic with it.
Yeah, you can unlock the movie if you scan this Mountain Dew barcode.
There you go. Mountain Dew would be all over that. Do like what Adult Swim does during April Fools, where it's just like, oh, we're going to play The Room for 24 hours. Or like, oh, we're going to play the first new episode of Rick and Morty or Too Many Cooks. Just be like, one day, April Fools, Adult Swim, they just play the whole movie.
Or it could be like what Sony did, I think it was a few years ago. They had some movie, some crappy rom-com or something that was coming out, and they put a trailer up for it, except it wasn't the trailer, it was the full film, and they put it up on YouTube with it, and it was up there for a couple of hours before they noticed, and then they took it down, but it was already too late.
The chat is saying there, why not release it on VHS only? Agreed, release it on outdated formats. Yeah, you gotta dig up a VCR if you want to see it. I love that. That's fucking sick. Yeah, make people go to their local pawn shop to find VCRs and all the attachments you need to hook up a VCR to a new TV.
I still have a VCR, so it doesn't matter to me.
I do too, somewhere. It's not hooked up to anything, but I love that very, very much. Man, yeah, put it on Betamax. Exactly, Party Pug. Make it the Guns N' Roses Chinese democracy of films. When's it coming out? When it's done. Valve time. Look, tell you what, you can watch the New Mutants movie and then you can play Half-Life 3.
At the same time.
There you go.
The movie leads into Half-Life 3.
It does, actually, which is why it's taking them so long to come out with it. That's the real reason. But yeah, New Mutants, I look forward to catching this on TV at some point in the future.
When's it now slated to come out? April?
Something like that. Sooner than you think.
Yeah. Speaking of sooner than you think...
Yes, we also, speaking of movie trailers, we got a new Birds of Prey trailer as well this week.
You mean the Harley Quinn movie trailer?
Harley and her amazing friends, yes.
That's what the movie is, and I don't really care for it at all.
No, but they're also not even really hiding it at all either, that this is just the Harley Quinn movie now, and I'm like, then why did you call it the Birds of Prey? I would actually have respected you more if you just called it the Harley Quinn movie or Harley and Friends.
Yeah, and just had these characters in it and then springboard them out into a Birds of Prey film.
Yeah, it's weird. The trailer itself, I will definitely give them this. This trailer had way more personality than any of those Suicide Squad trailers where it's just, oh, you really want to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to say this because... I have no basis to say this, but I just want to upset someone listening later on. I reckon half of these scenes were all from the reshoots, because we see Black Mask in his mask, and before this trailer, we never saw it.
We do, that's right. Even in the promotional material, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask doesn't do the one thing and wear the one article of clothing he's supposed to.
Yep, and I guarantee you that was part of the reshoots.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm like, so is he just gonna put it on at the end? Is
That's
he
what I
just
think.
gonna
It's
put
like
it
the last
on?
20 seconds or something. You'll put it on.
It'll be just like those X-Men costumes that actually looked pretty good at the end of that X-Men movie,
Don't remind me.
which you'll never see again. Yeah, I appreciate this movie having its own personality. I thought it was fucking hilarious that they seemed to kill off the Jared Leto Joker in the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. He's not coming back. He's busy playing Morbius.
Yeah, that's right, which apparently we'll be having a trailer tomorrow or something.
Yeah, very soon.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, it definitely had some personality. They definitely seem to try to be doing the like Jimmy Palmiotti, Harley striking out on her own storyline, which hilariously they're also doing in that very funny Harley cartoon show right now.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of that. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, isn't it? Here's the thing, Matt. Those first 2 episodes are funny. The next couple episodes actually start doing character work and they give
Ooh.
Harley a show-specific origin, and I like the show origin more than the current comic version.
That's the thing. Like that. Her origin stuff in like White Knight. Stuff like that. Like everything that's not canon, quote unquote, has a better origin than the actual canon origin of Harley Quinn.
It's so weird, and it gets even weirder when you realize her solo series is also only like kind of in continuity.
Yeah, it's only when it wants to be, really, sort of thing.
They're doing this weird 50-50 thing with it. I know Tom Taylor was happy on Twitter because they had the coat, hat, and grenade launcher scene from Injustice.
Yeah, yeah, they seem to be picking and choosing all these Harley scenes.
To which to me, I'm like, it seems like they've actually read some comics. Holy shit.
There are allowed comics. Holy
They
shit.
were allowed. Apparently, Margot Robbie read quite a few comics, which is why she wanted to do Birds of Prey in the first place, because she really liked the book Birds of Prey.
Then why didn't she make a Birds of Prey film? This is a Harley Quinn film.
Because she's cast as Harley Quinn. That's why. Thank you. I am the Q as well for following. I just saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. No. The film does look like it's got its own personality, but like some of the character choices are like the Birds of Prey, and like Cassandra Cain is like talking like a normal person, and just like and there's obviously the audience like surrogate, which doesn't make much sense to me. Like, why not just make it just like an original character?
I'm like, it's funny. It's like, yeah, this movie's filled with a lot of in-name only versions, and I'm like, well, Harley in a lot of ways was an in-name only version of her character, and she ended up being a big success. So they're just like, look, can we make lightning strike not once, not twice, but thrice?
Does that mean that she's going to start talking in the comics now and being just like this? I hope not.
I mean, I guess only time will tell.
Comic synergy, it ruins shit.
Sometimes it really does. Sometimes it helps, like resurrecting Iron Man and making him a AAA character, and sometimes it's just like, hey, let's totally change the thing you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, that Harley cartoon is pretty funny, and I hope this is funny too. I was surprised they got away with a cocaine joke in the trailer. That was pretty good.
That actually surprised me. I was like, oh, I was surprised that's not like Joker gas or Scarecrow venom or something. Yeah.
Also, Harley has at least one pet hyena, but instead of two, named Bud and Lou after Abbott and Costello. She has one hyena named Bruce, and I have to admit that one did get a good laugh out of me. That's actually pretty funny. But yeah, that's the Harley movie. Again, I'm not going to call it Birds of Prey because it is the Harley movie.
Yeah, comes out in February.
Yeah, could go either way. I actually imagine this one's going to make a lot of money because Suicide Squad, despite everything, made a lot of money.
It'll be like exactly like Joker. It's got nothing to do with the Joker, but it made a lot of money because it's got the Joker's name on it. It's the same here because Harley Quinn is in there and is on the covers of stuff and everything.
Although the difference between this and the Joker is I feel that Harley Quinn won't stop and lecture me in the last 15 minutes of the movie and become a director surrogate.
Yeah.
So, that's always fun. What else do we got going on here? So some comic book news coming down the pipeline now. They announced several new titles from Marvel that are going to be spinning out of the events of Outlawed. We're going to be getting a new Champions book from Eve Al Ewing, which makes sense because did I call her Eve Al Ewing? No, Eve L Ewing.
Evil Ewing.
Wow. Evil Ewing.
No, Eve Ewing.
It's like Evil Lynn from He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. Yes, Eve L. Ewing. God, my brain just wanted to fucking auto-complete that. It's even weirder. There's two Ewings at Marvel, and they're not related at all.
Yeah, it's so strange. And they both had a turn on champions at one point.
Yeah, it's truly the damnedest. But yeah, she's going to be taking over the main Champions book. Makes a lot of sense considering that she's right. She's the architect of this Outlawed storyline. What really gets me is, we see the cover for this Champions book, and we see a couple of the other promotional images. We've got the Champions Trinity, Miss Marvel, Sam Alexander Nova, and Miles. So they're going to be fine by the end of Outlaw. They're letting us that be known right away. They're going to be fine. Also, Ewing talks about, I'm going to write Northgard, the Zub original character, and, Riri. And she lists off, several characters. She does not mention Braun.
Oh, really? He's kind of like the one who started all of this.
Yeah, well, it's true, because in that incoming story, he leaves the Agents of Atlas to go back to the Champions. And I'm like, that's a weird choice for them to move him so quickly. And then I'm like, oh, they're going to kill him, aren't they? He's going to be the one who dies.
And he's the reason that Senator was coming after all the younger heroes, because of his rampage in New York.
Yeah, I'm like, they're going to hang this all on Amadeus Cho, aren't they? He's going to be the one. He's going to be the speedball.
I was just about to say that.
Which, all right. I think if you definitely did a popularity poll of all of the champions, he'd probably come up pretty low on the list. And also, look, we already have an earth-shaking, genre-redefining Hulk book in Immortal Hulk right now. Mm-hmm. And Al Ewing doesn't want to do anything with Amadeus, so I guess he's cleared to be killed then. Yeah.
The original Hulk is back. His book is selling really well and doing amazing things with the character. Get rid of this guy who was meant to take over him.
Yeah. Also, too, it's like Amadeus Cho was a character before he was the Hulk, too, so maybe they're not even going to kill him. Maybe just, depower him or send him to jail or something.
Yeah, maybe something like separate him from the Hulk or something.
Which, man, I like the idea of Amadeus Cho Braun prison drama.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you send him to, the Raft or to, one of the supervillain prisons, and he's got to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, speaking of heroes in prisons, again, so that's the Champions book that's coming out. Also, New Warriors is coming back. Oh, and what's that? New Warriors has also been canceled because every version of the New Warriors has been canceled right on time.
It's the same with when I saw the Power Pack one. I'm like, wait, weren't they just in that Future Foundation book and it just got immediately canceled?
Yep.
Yeah.
These two teams have terrible luck. Loyal fan bases, terrible luck.
That's what I don't understand. We have millions of fans, but why is the comic canceled then? If it should be selling really well then.
Some teams are just like that. I like to. They're like, okay, so we got every new warrior on this team, and Night Thrasher has a new costume.
Gotta make him cool.
Again, does he have a new skateboard too? Have you found a way to make a skateboard?
Same old one.
Intimidating hero thing.
He's got one of those. He's got one of those. What do you call it? You're it's like those segways without the handle. What are they called?
Oh, yeah, hoverboards.
Yeah, he's got one of them.
He's got a hoverboard. I like it for the future, because we're in the future now. It's high-tech Night Thrasher. The one thing about New Warriors that really surprises me, and I wonder how they're going to square this circle, as the chat is saying, no Scarlet Spider on the team.
No.
And normally there always is some version of the Scarlet Spider. Maybe he's the mystery character. Maybe he's like the stinger at the end. But also, Rage is on the team too, which is really surprising, because do you remember the last time we saw Rage, Matt?
I don't know.
In Nick Spencer's Sam Wilson Captain America book, Rage, Rage was getting hassled by dirty cops, and I think he might have killed one accidentally or something. They were doing a whole thing about police brutality in the black community, and he got railroaded and sent to jail, and Sam Wilson couldn't help him. And it was sadder than any death, because it's he was found guilty and sent to jail. How are they gonna deal with this? I guess he's fine. I guess he's out now.
Yeah, or they bust him out or something. I don't know. Again, proving that they should be outlawed if they're busting people out of prison. Or he's the villain, or he's sent after them. You go after these people, and we'll cut your sentence down.
We'll cut you a deal. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Rage I always liked, because he's this big brute strength guy, but he's a child. He just doesn't look like a child. He's like a weird inverse of Shazam.
Yeah.
but he always looks like adult. But yeah, and then Power Pack, which admittedly, I know people like the Power Pack. I know very little about Power Pack, actually.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they were referenced in that Future Foundation book or something, or like at least brought up in that. And yeah, that book got cancelled, and I don't see this doing very well either.
Yeah, the only thing I know about Power Pack is that people really enjoy them as characters. So, everyone seems to have gotten a little something. So, that's good. I'll definitely be checking out some of these for sure.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on here? Ooh, some DC news that everyone I think will appreciate, and it's something that we've been talking about here on the show, no stop. Dan DiDio, in a recent interview, pledged no future DC Black Label book will be solicited until the time of shipping is certain.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe you should have started with this one, Dan, as it seems that every Black Label book shows up late or sometimes not at all.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, I can see this. He's not gonna fulfill this problem. There's gonna be like 3 Jokers. Like that's already been solicited, and because issue two has been done, and I bet you issue 3 will be like postponed or something, because as well I think it might have also been in this interview, or maybe another one he gave at the same place, but he was also talking about how Doomsday Clock's whole effect on the continuity was hampered by the delays. I'm like, well you delayed it, this was your fault.
Yeah, also it's also no fucking shit, man. Yeah, we all put that together, dog.
It's like, way to be right on the ball, man.
Yeah, you didn't need to tell us. What are you going to do about it, though? Because you basically just said, yeah, we had a whole year of stuff we couldn't get to, and we were just making stuff up for a year while Doomsday Clock finished.
It's very obvious.
I mean, let's face it, the last year DC really did feel like they were just making shit up.
Yeah, especially in the Superman stuff.
Oh, yeah. What about Green Arrow's box? What was in the Green Arrow box? Remember that?
That's not...
That was really important.
Unless it's some like 4th hour sort of last minute thing in the next issue of Justice League. It doesn't fucking matter at all.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of stuff from earlier on in this DC run where it's and what did that accomplish? Nothing.
Nah.
Sorry. But yeah, here's hoping they actually stick to their guns and make it happen. But like Matt said, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same with the was it 5G stuff. Apparently that stuff starts happening in the in Wonder Woman issue 750. That's where that new timeline starts to begin.
Right. I mean, I guess that makes sense because they're rewriting everything to say how she was the first hero, and we even got a little taste of that at the end of Doomsday Clock as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll give it a chance. As everyone knows, when DC retcons stuff, it stays forever and never changes.
Never.
That's always my thing about DC Comics, when they're like, oh no, they ruined it, it's different now. I'm like, don't worry, they'll change it back in 5 to 8 years.
That's why whenever I see people getting all up in arms about Superboy being changed into an adult, I'm like, it's not gonna stick around. None of this stuff sticks around.
Nothing is permanent.
No.
Comics are a roller coaster ride. Yeah. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down.
Yep.
All right, then. So I guess with that, we can actually hop on over to what we read this week, and it feels like a little bit since we've talked about this.
It has been a lot.
And this was a pretty good week. I was actually able to get through most of what I read, which I'm happy to say.
So was I.
I guess we should start with Batman 86, which is James Tynion's big premiere.
And I'm happy to talk about this one.
Likewise.
Yeah, this was a great book. Batman talked in full sentences.
Wasn't that nice? A Batman who's a human being and relates to people in a normal, understandable human way.
Yeah, it was great.
He wasn't a weird alien. And also, hey, if you did like the Tom King run, then don't you fret, because Tynion just doesn't come in and throw away everything that King had built. He actually deals with the fallout, I would say, quite expertly. Batman is still mourning the death of Alfred. In a particular sad scene, he talks to Lucius and calls him Alfred by accident.
Yep, still thinks Alfred is around.
Yeah, he's trying to do like a new urban rejuvenation initiative. Apparently, we find out in this issue that when Batman wasn't Batman, he had like some architectural aspirations, and that he would occasionally like draw on napkins a better city.
Yeah, and this feels like he's doing it for Alfred as well, because
Yeah.
he kept saying how it was impossible, but Alfred was the one who kept saying, "No, it's not. You're Batman. You can do anything. Nothing is impossible for you."
As always, Bruce Wayne is spurred on by the death of a loved one to do new and different things.
Yep.
And I mean, he couldn't become double Batman after the death of Alfred, so
He could have put an extra cowl on and
that'd be funny. He's wearing two capes. I'm double Batman now. All the flavor of original Batman, but double. Catwoman is still sticking around too. In fact, they don't answer this question, but I feel like Tynan will answer it, and that is like, okay, Batman and Catwoman are together. They love each other. They got married. What does that mean for Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne? Because Selina Kyle is like, schmoozing rich people at one of Bruce Wayne's official Wayne Industries party. Are they together? Do people know they're an item? And if so, what does that mean?
yeah. Well, from what I got of it, it looks like Selena is like working quote unquote for Bruce. Like they've made like as like his like VP assistant or something, because she's the one like smoozing these young investors to like invest in Bruce's rebuild fund.
Yeah, she looked very official, and I'm like, yeah, does she work for Wayne Industries in an official capacity? Does she have a business card? Does she get like does she get paid? Does Bruce write her a paycheck so she doesn't have to steal things? Although she wants to steal, I actually like that, where she's like, Bruce, it's very hard for me not to rob all these people.
Yeah, all these jewels here.
Yeah, my kleptomania that we never actually dealt with in the Tom King run, that's going to be a problem because I clearly have a problem. We also get a who's who of super assassins who have been called to Gotham to work on some sort of job. You got Deathstroke, you got, Cheshire, and Merlin, who I'm glad they don't call Malcolm Merlin. I'm glad he's just Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin, Mr. Teeth.
Yeah, some new characters, Gunsmith and Mr. Teeth.
Mr. Teeth looks horrifying.
They sure do. Boy, you forget for a second that Tynan and his teacher Snyder cut their teeth in comics writing horror stories until you see stuff like this and you're reminded.
Yeah, Gunsmith though looks like a patriotic grifter.
I mean, Gunsmith looks exactly like how you imagine a guy named Gunsmith would look.
Yep.
I bet he loves chicks in America. Yeah. I bet he has I bet he has a lot of like buckheads on his wall. If he's got his house.
He's got a Chevy with like a "Don't Tread on Me" sticker on the back, and his back window is a Confederate flag. And
of course, even though he wears an American flag as part of his costume, he does both and doesn't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
His his radio is always tuned to Rush Limbaugh all the time. And he's a super assassin. Oh, as someone in the chat is saying, when did Deathstroke get resurrected? I think in his own book. I know they killed him in his own book and replaced him for a little bit. I think he came back near the end.
I know people were getting... I didn't find anything problem with it. They were getting upset with like his costume because it's like kind of more classical Deathstroke, whereas I think in the end of his book he had like the icon suit or something.
Right. Oh, that's right. The Icon suit. I forgot that was a whole big thing they were doing. The Icon suit is too powerful for him to have in any book that's not his own.
Yeah. So what did you? I actually really liked it, but what did you think about the little bit of like Bat God that was sprinkled in here with him being ahead of everyone? I actually kind of liked it because it was explained. It wasn't just he's Batman.
It's explained, and also it's Tynan trying to set up my Batman is different. My Batman uses more technology, which he really did here. He went the full James Bond.
Yeah, he's got a new vehicle, which I think people are saying is the one from the Lego Batman film.
I heard that too, and it is kind of like that because it's basically a Transformer.
Yeah, we don't properly see it in this first issue, but yeah, it kind of gives me that idea that it was that one.
The Night Hopper, which I'm like, that's cool. I can dig that.
Yeah, he's got these little orbs that like project his shadow and corral villains. That was pretty cool.
That, criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot, so I'm going to make each individual villain think I was chasing after them. That way they'll think they're special. It was very fun. I like, too, he beats up Deathstroke in between the panels.
Yeah, when we cut back, Deathstroke's got a batarang in his eye and arrows in him and everything.
That was a nice touch. I'm like, thank you. We've seen these two characters fight so much in their own book, in each other's books. Thank you for just dispensing with the fight, because again, it's like we've seen this so much.
Yeah, Deathstroke had a pretty cool line where he came. We find out that he just basically came to Gotham because he wanted to see if Batman had this death wish that he'd heard of, that he has now after Bane made a fool of him.
Yeah, Bane made you soft.
Yes, and no, he didn't. Thomas Wayne did, but really Tom King did.
But yeah, there you go. And James Tynan's like, nah, man, nah, he's over it. He's good. He ain't letting this get him down. Then, of course, we get the big mystery stinger that seeks to tie all this together, and that is that, Bruce Wayne, not Batman, independently of Batman, which I like, Bruce Wayne has pissed off some shadowy individual who doesn't like his whole urban renewal effort.
And is somehow tied to Selina, because they're enacting like one of Selina's perfect crimes, which, as they say, begun with 5 killers coming to Gotham, which is something she's obviously had planned or something.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what was her friend's name that King teased something with and then did nothing with?
Oh, Holly Robinson.
Yeah, maybe it's her.
Yeah, Holly Robinson, who was a character back in like the old Frank Miller days and everything. She's the prostitute who stabs Batman.
Yeah.
Maybe that's her plan too, just to get Batman in a situation where she can stab him again.
That's his weakness. Prostitute knives.
Kind of. She keeps doing it too. She did it in the King run too. And I'm like, why does Batman have this weird blind spot for this girl who keeps stabbing him? And like keep almost killing him too. Like she almost kills him in that story.
Yeah. She was a bit more successful in almost like bringing down Batman than like Bane was.
Yeah. Nothing beats the hobo life, stabbing folks with my hobo knife. That's Batman's new villain, the hobo. He's got a bindle on his back that he swings around, stabs people with his hobo knife. This is why I can't write comics, everyone. I mean, come on. If the Viking can be a villain, the hobo can be a villain. I loved that Viking from Detective Comics too. That was pretty cool. Golden. That's so Golden Age comics, and now Batman is gonna fight a man dressed as a Viking. But yeah, Batman 86 definitely gets our seal of approval. Enjoy it while you can, because apparently 5G is going to fuck up a bunch of these books now and completely change the writing team, and we might be getting John Singleton, the 5 Years a Slave guy, coming on to write the next run.
Hey, it could be pretty good.
It could be. I'm definitely going to give these 5G books a chance. I mean, I have to, because if I don't, we're not going to cover anything DC on our channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Just stop reviewing everything DC because they changed all the heroes?
That would be too petty.
Yeah, not on our watch there. Although I'm sure some people will, but we'll get to that when we get there. What else did you have this week, Matt, that you wanted to talk about?
I had The Rise of Kylo Ren issue 2.
Oh shit, I didn't read this one yet. I did read the first one, but I did breeze through this one, so do tell.
Yeah, so this picks up almost immediately after the last issue, and we learn a little bit more about the Knights of Ren. We see the first confrontation that Ben had with them, which was when he and Luke and Lor San Tekka were going to a Jedi temple, like excavating and taking the artifacts and stuff. And yeah, they met them. We got to see Luke kick some ass. He absolutely destroys them. Absolutely.
That was a cool looking fight. I was just breathing through it. I'm like, this is Luke at the height of his power, yes.
It was. It totally was. And it's like, where is this in the films? I wanted to see this.
Yeah. I again, not to dig up old biz, but I liked wise Final Days Luke. But yeah, it looked cool. Also, Ren, the leader of the Knights of Ren, takes off his mask.
Yeah, and he's Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm like, I thought
or Anthony Bourdain.
Okay, yes, more Bourdain than Epstein, but yes, you're absolutely right now. That's who he looked like. Hey there, I'm Ren, and this is Parts Unknown. We're gonna be going across the galaxy, having the finest foods, telling cool stories.
But yeah, he kind of tempts Ben, because Ben, like, while he was a Jedi, he kind of hated his uncle for like. Because he thought his uncle was like reining him in, not letting him do what he could do, not reaching his full potential, and he saw Luke as weak for not that.
How very Anakin of him.
Yeah, very again, he's his own bloodline. It makes sense.
It's like poetry, so that it
Yeah,
rhymes, but
yeah,
we
yeah.
actually mean it this time.
So like between like Snoke and this Ren guy, they like manipulate him, and then in the present time, Ben returns after destroying the temple, returns to that place to pick up the Ren's helmet and like talk to him, and they're gonna meet, but first he's got to go kill those Jedi Padawans.
Of course. I liked the picking up the mask thing, and again, I just like breezed through the book before we started. I like that he picks up the helmet because it's like, even at a young age, young Ben Solo had a creepy mask fetish.
Yeah, he liked those creepy masks.
He couldn't tell anyone about it. He kept meeting creepy older Force users on the Force net, and he kept getting baited into going to meet them, be it Snoke or Ren or anybody else.
Yes.
I like this is just canon that Ben Solo's a bit of a dumbass.
It's a little bit. But yeah, yeah, it's just really interesting. I like seeing him being manipulated by these guys. It's very obvious manipulating, but then they're playing to like what Ben wants, where he wants just power, and kind of like what Anakin wants. He wants to be able to use his power, save everyone, all that sort of stuff.
Again, being easily manipulated isn't a bad character trait if that's a consistent character trait, and with Kylo Ren, it clearly is shown he is susceptible to flattery. He is susceptible to all these other things. He didn't have a strong father figure in Han, and so he is just endlessly chasing father figures.
That's like another thing, like, because we learned that like he hates the name Ben Solo because first it's named after Ben Kenobi, and because of that that's right. Everyone thinks that he's meant to be like that, which means he's got this pressure of like he's meant to be a legend, as then he's meant to be a Solo. So, and he knows that name isn't Han's real name. Like that's a fake name, so it's a lie in itself. Like his father is a liar, so he hates that as well.
Can you be the coolest person in the world? I didn't think so. Maybe what you should really do is try and be like your Uncle Chewie is what you should be like. He's clearly the best role model.
It's like that thing, never meet your heroes.
Never meet your heroes, absolutely. Again, too, proof that Chewie is the best role model. He survived all 3 trilogies, so there you go. Chewbacca, best role model. Although maybe not, because didn't they say in one of those art books, like, Chewbacca takes up a politically neutral stance in the Star Wars? And I'm like, they enslaved the Wookiees and made them mine spice.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, no.
That's literally alien cotton picking. He's so politically neutral.
We had a movie where he was tied into the bottom of a mud puddle.
Yeah.
By these like evil people, but they're all right. They're misunderstood.
To eat prisoners of war, although maybe Chewie really wanted to eat prisoners of war. I don't know.
How old is Chewbacca? I think he's like 200 odd years old or something. They mention it in Rise of Skywalker, although knowing that film, that's probably fucking inaccurate as fuck. It's
probably incorrect, or like or like half right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Chewbacca, he just wanted to have a simple life. He just wanted to celebrate Wookiee Life Day, tear the arms off some stormtroopers. Yeah, they kicked down the door to his house and hassled his family on Life Day. How do you stay neutral at that point?
Yeah.
You think Art Carney was politically neutral on these stormtroopers? I don't think so. You think B. Arthur was politically neutral when they shut down her bar? Hey, Wookiee Life Day is canon now again, thanks to The Mandalorian. Which I fucking love. Please, Mandalorian, do a Wookiee Life Day special. Please let that be an episode in season 2 where he goes to Kashyyyk during Life Day.
Hey, Jon Favreau wants to do another holiday special. I say let him.
Please let him. And little baby Yoda will put on a little red cult hood and everything for their ritual, for their godless ritual. And then they'll sing the songs of the Wookiee people.
Which is just the Star Wars theme song.
Love it. Oh man, speaking of Disney Plus, did you hear the thing? This genuinely surprised me, that apparently they're like stealthily taking away some stuff.
Oh, really?
Yes, apparently they lost Home Alone and like one other thing, which naturally people
didn't they just put Home Alone on there though?
Yes, they did, and I guess they didn't fully own the rights to it, because I'm sure a lot of people assumed that this was going to be the opposite of Netflix, where Netflix at least tells you every month, like, okay, you know, we're letting this lapse, we're losing this show, but we're getting this thing, and we're making our original content. You assume with Disney Plus, the idea is that everything they have on there, they own lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah.
Apparently not, though.
Okay.
Apparently some stuff they just kind of own.
Oh, wow. Okay. Why you would think they'd like vet the things they put up on there. It's like, oh, we'll put Home Alone up on there. Oh no, we don't own the rights. Oh well, it's been up for 2 weeks and it's doing really well. Just take it off. Don't tell anyone.
Maybe they just wanted it up for the Christmas season for the launch.
Maybe.
And look, I don't care that much about Home Alone. It's not like I'm going to be watching that one all the time. I usually only watch that one around Christmas anyway. But still, that's a real thing of like, oh, so you don't own everything you say you do, and you also didn't tell people. People had to figure this out and catch you doing it.
Yeah, that, like you said, like Netflix and all that always put out lists of what's coming and what's going. No, they should probably do that. Maybe because they just don't. They have a lot of stuff on there, but maybe they don't have a lot of stuff they can put on there at the moment because their original program is still being made.
Cyborg Soldier brings up an amazing fact that I totally forgot about, and that is, what is it? Maybe that means that Home Alone show is canned. Yeah, remember they were going to make a Home Alone show?
Really?
Yes, that was the thing there.
Was that back when like Home Alone 3 or 4 came out?
No. This was like new news this year. They were going to make a show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And everyone was like, how the fuck are you going to make a Home Alone series? They can't break into this kid's house every day.
Sure they can.
His parents have to figure out eventually.
You see they're remaking Saved by the Bell?
I did see that, yeah.
Why? No, please. Unless Dustin Diamond's on there trying to hawk his fucking sex tape.
Oh, yes, please. Please let him be like the creepy janitor. Hey, kids,
principal.
you want to see a movie? There's places they could go with that. Chat saying, too, yeah, there's also going to be a Chucky TV series as well, made by the original Chucky creator, fitting into his original Chucky continuity.
Which has me upset, because I like that new Child's Play film. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, again, as a lot of people said, the main problem with that Child's Play film was that it was called Child's Play. If it was called literally anything else, it probably would have succeeded better on its own merits than having to be compared.
Yeah, and Mark Hamill voiced Chucky.
I mean, really, you add Mark Hamill to anything, and I'm just going to love it that much more. The funny thing about the Chucky series is that one guy has owned the rights to it for so long and has done one continuous continuity fest from like the first one to the show now that's coming out and everything. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Most people don't stay involved with their creation that much.
Yeah, it must be all he has going for him.
I mean, that's true. He can go to every horror convention. He can sell the dolls. Chucky is very, very marketable.
Very.
So that's pretty good. What else do we got here for comics this week? We had the new X-Force.
Yes, read that.
Yep, this was a fun one. The continuation, we had a great cliffhanger. Logan got his friggin' body cut in half, and poor Kid Omega got his head cut off by a closing portal, showing that we're getting into some fucking The Fly territory.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then we got Domino, who, because her powers are watered down, has to like find a roundabout way to get there.
Yeah, I like that, where it's like, okay, how do you have Domino on the team when literally nothing can hurt her? Yeah, we've dampened her powers a little bit, but we have a story reason for it. And it's made her a little crazy, too. I love that the strike team for X-Force this issue is like, all right, so the rules are we're not supposed to kill anybody, but we're a secret clandestine team of secret mutant police, so we're kind of above the law so long as we leave no witnesses.
That's the thing. I like that they're like, they had that talk about like the CIA and everything, and in the last issue, and then it kind of plays out like that here, where Beast is now like kind of like the moral center of the team a little bit, like kind of keeping them all in check, make sure they don't brutalize the people too hard.
As Percy said when he was selling the book, X-Force is of two parts: the brain side of the team and the brawn side of the team, and already
Hercules and Athena.
Yeah, absolutely. And those two sides are already clashing against each other now, with Beast being like, don't kill everyone. Okay, well, kill people if you want, but like save one so we can interrogate that person.
Yeah, and they've got the interrogation side of things where they're literally waterboarding it in someone in like Krakoa, Guantanamo Bay.
Psychically waterboarding. Again, we are above the law.
And I like that guy that they caught, how he says it's like, well, mutants now are the 1%. Like, you've never been that, but
Yeah.
what happens to the 1% is you get targeted. Like, no matter who you are, you'll get targeted.
That was a very interesting take, and the fact that Beast is even a little bit shocked, where it's like, whoa, 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 you mean someone attacked us, and it wasn't a politically motivated
Yeah,
attack?
yeah, and I love that. Again, that kind of feeds into that whole arrogance that the mutants have been built. These mutants have, where they think like every attack is going to be politically motivated.
Personal.
These people hate us because they're going to attack us, and so when something like this happens, they like kind of caught off guard.
They're at a bit of a loss. Although really it kind of was, because they were,
Little
paid
bit, yeah.
through backdoor by the Peacock guy. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, it wasn't. You were only half right. But yeah, that's cool. I like that this book is dealing with some interesting ideas. Heck, the whole back half appendices is basically Benjamin Percy being like, hey, so let's talk about mercenaries in the military industrial complex for a minute.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And I'm like, boy, this hits really hard right now, especially when the president of a certain North American company is saying, like, yes, and I will take money from my army and I can do whatever I want. Yeah, how about that? How about that? What else did you have, Matt?
I had Shazam issue 9.
I had this one as well.
This was a damn good issue.
Boy, was it. I love that for a second there you think like, oh, Black Adam and the Seven Sins in a fight in the street. Man, this comic is getting really serious and really dark and everything. And then as soon as that happens, boom, John snaps his fingers and no, we're back to childlike whimsy and adventure.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz and the Cheshire Cat's trying to kill people and stuff like that.
I've actually been saying Was Underland's wrong the whole time. I thought it was Underland. No, it's
God.
Was Underland, because it's Wizard of Oz and Wonderland.
I keep getting that word. I kept saying Wonderland. I kept wanting to say Wonderland and then Wozenderland.
It's a messed up word, and I didn't even know that was the gimmick until we got there.
Yeah.
And Johns drops a very cool little wording where he's like, yeah, this is the Wizard of Oz and Wonderland fused together. That happened after a crisis.
Yeah. That affected the magic lands.
So you mean to tell me even children's books, like even fictional children's universes, can have crises?
Yeah. Crisis on Infinite Fairy Tales.
Which, wow, that's kind of amazing. And also, like, there's been more than one DC crisis, which means there's probably been more than one children's literature crisis.
I also like that we're kind of dropped into the middle of this world, like mid-story, so we get like to hear we hear like, oh, the Tin Man was killed by the Queen of Hearts, and the White Rabbit is on a quest to like return his axe to the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow's been put in charge of Munchkin Land, but the Munchkins hate him because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, it's like just dropped in the middle of this. I'm like, this is so interesting.
There's a lot to digest. I'm like, man, there's like a whole other comic's worth of content here. Was Jeff Johns writing this at one point and just said, I'll put it in here?
Yeah, I think he probably was.
That's funny. DNG in the chat. So is a minor crisis just called a conflict? Yeah, let's go with that. I like that. A conflict. Conflict on infinite Earths. Final disagreement. There you go. Heroes in conflict.
Yeah, numerous conflicts.
Love it to death. It's funny too. Wizard Shazam shows up in this very same issue, and Billy asks a question that I didn't even ask at first, and that is, "Hey, Wizard Shazam, how the fuck are you alive? You died. I saw you die."
And they're like, "We'll explain later."
No,
But now you must choose.
Loved that moment too, where it's like, look, Billy, the power that you have is tied to your very heart, and you're being torn between two families right now. So you need to decide, do you want to go with your dad or your foster siblings? And each of them make very good arguments as to why he should go with the other person.
They do. It wouldn't make it an easy choice, but yeah, in the end, he's able to choose both.
Because that's his power, and that's what Shazam do. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. What a positive, feel good story this Shazam book is.
Yeah, and that means Mr. Batson's now the 7th champion.
Which is really cool because usually we have children's becoming adults. Now we have an adult who wields that power. What's that gonna mean?
Yeah, an adult becoming a slightly larger adult.
Slightly bigger adult. I like a lot of people in my comment section too said it's nice that they didn't try and pull Billy's dad is actually bad, or like he's an actual.
That's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna like give him the power and he was gonna be the 7th champion, but yeah, he was gonna start abusing the power and like turn evil, or I had another thing where he was gonna be somehow possessed by that Captain Marvel that tried to get Billy to free him.
Yeah. Man, how freaking cool is that? The Captain Marvel family is alive in this universe. Well, they're technically dead, but they are alive in a universe of the dead where all dead things go.
They police their own universe.
I love that a whole lot. I'm like, man, I would read a whole story about them, actually.
Yeah, but we can't legally do that.
But we can't legally. We'd have to call them like Captain Death or Captain Dark World.
Yeah.
Which I'd be cool with that. But yeah, Shazam is great. It sucks they keep delaying that book the way they do because it's awesome.
Yeah. When's the next issue coming out? In like 10 months or something?
Yeah, something like that. No friggin' clue. But yeah, that book is awesome. Support it while you can, because it seems that everyone at DC Editorial is doing everything in their power to murder that book.
Which sucks, because we got Superboy Prime coming up.
And also, what the fuck are you going to do for a movie sequel if you have nothing to take from? And Johns is literally writing the direct sequel to that movie. What will you adapt then?
I don't know.
What else did I have this week? Ooh, I had the Immortal Hulk.
Ooh, tell me about Immortal Hulk and his Metal Gear plan.
Shockingly, they put the Metal Gear stuff on the back burner this issue, and it actually returned to like more. And now back to your regularly scheduled smashing is what this one kind of was, but in a cool way, because it's like no, all that stuff we set up before still matters, but now we've got these extra little layers to it. So basically, Dario Agger knows he can't beat the Hulk in a fight, so he recruits a bunch of monsters from Monster Island.
Okay.
And he gives them cool code names like Harryhausen and Bradbury.
That's funny.
And Lovecraft. I'm like, oh, famous monster creator / writer / directors.
Yep.
And his whole deal is like, look, so we need to pick the perfect moment when the Fantastic Four and the Avengers are all off Earth. Then I'm going to have my monsters attack different cities all over the world, meaning that the Hulk will be forced out of his hidey hole, but also forced to fight me during the daytime.
Oh, okay.
Because Agger's put together that the Hulk is weakest during the day, but Doc Samson actually has a whole conversation with Betty where he's like, yeah, so it used to be Joe Fixit could only come out at night, but now he's come out in the day, and he's actually a lot nicer now, probably because he's made peace with Banner inside their shared brain, and now Devil Hulk is coming out during the day too. Does that mean Banner is actually rubbing off on his other personalities and making them better, or are they just fucking with him and rubbing off on him?
That's interesting, because they had that bit in Incoming where he was talking with Doc Samson how Joe Fixit has taken over Bruce's body, and he was kind of upset about it because he wanted to be all powerful, but he has to be this meek, like, human. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's totally what they're referencing, and they even bring up Betty too, where it's like, yeah, everyone's so obsessed with Bruce and what's going on with him because he might have the devil inside him and he might destroy the earth and everything. No one cares that Betty got shot in the head, turned into a harpy, is acting all cold and distant, and no one's asking her problems.
Oh, the Rick effect.
The Rick effect, literally. And we now know 100% she only actually turns into the harpy when Bruce is around.
Oh, okay.
Implying, or what I got from it is like, oh, so the harpy personality is coming out to protect Betty from Bruce because, he's viewed as a threat because every time he's around, she gets her heart broken or gets shot in the head or her father goes to prison or something.
It'll be really interesting to see if they actually use that as like an indicator. So like I could see them doing something where they think, oh no, Bruce is back now, he's fine, but like Betty doesn't turn into like a harpy. And that's like an indicator where it's like, oh, that's not Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, Al Ewing just doesn't write stuff for the sake of writing it. Yeah, I definitely feel that that's like, planting a seed for later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Immortal Hulk, One of the best books of last year, continues to be one of the best books now. Just
Nice.
when I think I know what this story is and know where it's going, Al Ewing's like, nah, fuck you, we're changing genres.
That's good. That's good.
I really expect in a couple months where it's like, what's the book going to be now? It was a horror story. It was like a demons and monsters story set in hell. It was a cosmic horror story. Then it became a political polemic. What's it going to be a year from now? Bollywood musical.
Uh, Sold.
So Hulk in India, just, dancing and having a great time. And it's like, man, can you believe this changed so organically into a Bollywood story? Hulk has to win a dance competition against the Wrecking Crew to save America from America. The only way.
Did I talk about that Doctor Strange Surgeon Supreme book, did I?
No, you didn't actually. Although it's actually the Surgeon Supreme stuff is kind of bleeding into what I'm reading in Jane Foster Valkyrie, because they've teamed up and formed the Magical Medic Squad.
Yeah. I only brought that because you mentioned the Wrecking Crew, because Wrecker is in that first issue, and he absolutely wipes the floor with Doctor Strange.
I heard that actually. That Wrecker actually got a win for once.
Yeah, because he got a magical weapon.
Good for him, man. Good for you. And again, after playing Dungeons and Dragons, magical weapons are at least a +1 to +3. So I mean, it's gonna let him do so much more DPS. They're gonna have to nerf Wrecker in the next upgrade, man, because he's totally changed the meta with his magic weapons. Doctor Strange basically respect. He took the bad hands deficiency, but now he's got the good hands perk. So he's going to do so much better come Nationals, come Evo.
Evo.
Now, that's the story we need. We need Avengers go to Evo, and they just get really pissed off. They should coincide it to when the new Avengers game comes out. They go to, like, E3, and they get pissed because other people are doing way better at the game than them. Thor gets all pissed and, like, crushes the controller. It's like, bullshit, I say it.
Oh, that'd be great.
The God of Thunder would never lose to the likes of, let us fight in the parking lot. But yeah, Hulk is good.
It's really good.
And Doctor Strange sounds good too. What else did you have, Matt? I only had a couple more.
Yeah, I've only got a couple more. I had Dial H for Hero issue 10.
Oh yeah, this apparently has gotten really interesting because they've like crossed over like some Harley stuff and like some Wonder Twin stuff now.
Yeah, no, well, in Young Justice, all of the Wonder Comics books are now like converging in that book.
That's insane. I would never have thought that.
But yeah, this issue, Miguel and Summer are traveling the multiverse looking for the Y dial. They travel to all these different universes. Earth 2 is mentioned and seen, which I appreciated.
That's amazing. And it lives in our hearts.
They end up heading to Earth 32, which is the amalgamation universe where heroes from are like combined with each other. So we got like Superman and Martian Manhunter to form Super Martian, and Harley Quinn and the Anti-Monitor, of course.
Oh shit, that's very unexpected.
Which is what they're fighting when these heroes show up. And the heroes of this Earth are aware that they're looking for the Y dial, which is on their Earth. It's actually hiding in Miguel the Street, because Miguel is combined with Danny the Street, because on that universe, Miguel and Summer are part of the Doom Patrol.
Nice, Paul.
Summer is her character of Lolo Kiku, which is the hero she turns into, is combined with Lobo. So it's this big, strong woman. I
saw the picture of that and it looked cool.
They end up finding the Y dial, but then Mr. Thunderbolt turns up and he starts manipulating Miguel, because one of the great things about this comic is, and I was kind of worried when it started off, is when you use the H dial, you become addicted to it. You always want to go back and be a hero because it's the best version of yourself. And I thought they were going to go the route where, like, oh, Miguel's different. He uses the H dial and isn't addicted to it. And he's like the only one who can control it and that sort of stuff. But they don't go that route. Miguel, the last couple of issues, has been totally addicted to it. And he just keeps wanting to change back, And Mr. Thunderbolt plays on that because... and he tells Miguel that Mr. Thunderbolt and the Operator are the same person, Robbie Reed, which was split by the Y dial. And then, again, we got an awesome page, which is a Mad Magazine fold over page, where you fold over the page and it reveals that.
Man, I miss when comics used to do that.
So he manages to convince Miguel to use the Y dial to save the universe, to go after the next dial, which is, I think, is the black dial, which is on Apocalypse.
Oh
And
shit.
to do that, he uses the Y dial, which all the dials do something different. The Y dial multiplies you and splits you.
Right, right.
So when Miguel uses it, he turns into Super Miguel, but then he becomes Reign of the Super Miguel. He gets a cyborg Super Miguel, an Eradicator, a Steel, and a Super Miguel
Oh,
boy.
that's fun. Man, they sound like they're doing a lot with the Dial
And
H universe. They've really
and
opened it up.
the last page is a recreation of the Reign of the Superman cover, with all these
Huh.
different all these different counterparts.
That's wildly clever.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's such a damn good comic, and it's got 2 issues left, which I'm really upset.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like it had a pretty damn amazing run. I can't think any other Dial H run that was this impactful or this,
Yeah,
what's the word, ambitious, except for maybe the first one.
yeah. Then they've just appeared. Summer and that have just appeared in Young Justice.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, right, because they're all part of the Wonder imprint, which I guess is Bendis's imprint.
Yeah, they're all teaming up to go after Star Labs.
Right, right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
People in the chat were saying my camera was going on an acid trip there for a second, and it
Yeah.
kind of was.
Yeah, and it's calmed down now. It's
Now
coming down. It's coming down.
coming down. It needs lots of water, everybody. Oh, the colors of the rainbow, man. I read 2 last ones here. They were new this week, and they're both Spider-Man related. The first one was Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Brock goes to an island to try and purge himself of the Venom and Carnage symbiote, because the Carnage symbiote has infected the Venom symbiote, and now Eddie basically needs to recreate all his favorite scenes from the movie Rambo to fight the symbiotes that have turned against him. It's like literally he has a suit up montage. He's got the bandana and the flamethrower. It's really over the top but really fun.
That's great.
And it comes to the point too where it's like, oh wow, Eddie's actually matured so much that he's planning ahead. He's thinking of things that he never thought of before, and he's so serious about ending this symbiote threat because obviously he's a father now with a kid. He's willing to chop off his own arm if it means what is it? If it means saving his kid.
Man.
It's the damnedest. But it's really short. It's basically exactly what I'm telling you. But it was fun.
Cool.
The other one was, of course, Spider-Man. And honestly, I was not digging that last arc of Spider-Man with the Clairvoyant and Doctor Doom and all this other stuff.
They liked
kind
it.
of say, wasn't doing it for me. They save it in this issue, though. Did you read this issue?
I did read this issue, yes.
Boy, I liked this one. This was a breath of fresh air to me.
I did. I like that Peter was actually thinking about the consequences and weighing up the options of having this device that could actually help him get ahead in not just his life, but stop all the catastrophes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy they straight up, invoke Civil War 2. And it's like, well, didn't the last time heroes have future crime, this started a huge war? Yes, but it's okay because Spider-Man cleared it with the other heroes first.
Yeah, Captain America gave him the A-OK.
Also, too, the way he's using it in a very clever way, too. He's not using it to try and stop all crime on Earth like Carol was. He's just using it to try and stop the same crime that he fights every day. They even get around the whole Minority Report, charging someone for a crime they were going to commit thing by him using it only to stop people who have already committed crime so he could stay one step ahead of them.
Well, not only that, they also very smartly put in a little thing there by Jamie, his work partner, where he says well, it's never going to give you 100% positive result because that's mathematically impossible. That can't literally exist.
Thanks, Rick and Morty. Also, too, they put a nice ticking clock on this, too, where it's like, look, Spider-Man's not going to have this forever. It's already at 90% power, and he just can't have the Spider-Man 2099 come and power it back up again for him.
Yeah, he's busy on his island.
Yes, with Comic Book Girl 19. Yeah, I remembered that joke. And again, it's like, well, what does Spider-Man do now that he has all the time in the world and now that he actually, can do something for himself for a change? He has a nice date with Mary Jane, and it's very sweet.
Yeah, they watched the Janet Van Dyne superhero makeover show, The season
Man,
finale.
I wish that show was real. I would watch the shit out of that show if it was real. Now, Mole Man, this just does not work together. Green is so out, dear. You need to level your pussy up, girl. And Mole Man will be like, yes, I do. How does one do this? Well, first off, vertical stripes are very slimming. And then he just has a new costume. Also, they keep planting seeds about who Kindred could possibly be. They go on another interesting little rant.
Yeah, again, Nora Winters appears in this issue, and so does Kindred.
Yes, that's right. People are thinking there. It would be funny because obviously, she dated a hobgoblin way back when, disappeared, had some adventures, and came back. Again, Kindred goes on about oh, I was not only wronged by Peter Parker, but I was forgotten by Peter Parker too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, is that them saying because she was she was forgotten as a character, Nora? They keep implying the character is way older. With that Absolute Carnage tie-in, they imply that it was definitely someone Peter knew in the early days.
Yeah,
whoever that might be.
Yes, someone.
And again, someone. Also, too, they remind us that Kindred totally has demonic powers. Kindred's down with the devil because he summons fucking Sin Eater from hell. Stanley Carter.
Back to life. That was surprising. That was surprising.
Back to life again because Null also used him as a zombie, although he didn't bring him back to life so much as he dug up his corpse.
Yeah.
Friggin' Stanley Carter, man, he gets the rounds. You're you were the guy in Death of Jean DeWolf, so now you just keep coming back endlessly.
Yep.
Which has, of course, led people to think oh, what if Kindred is Jean DeWolf?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. What if we're all right and it's like a combination? It's like not one person.
We do the Murder on the Orient Express Hot Fuzz thing where it's Kindred was never
we're
one
all
person.
The people Peter forgot.
All the people Peter forgot there. Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting plays. D&G, what if it's Alpha? I'm pretty sure I already made that joke. What if Kindred was Alpha? That'd be fucking funny.
If they did that and I'd leave it to Nick Spencer to make Alpha an actual good character.
I would totally agree. My money is still on George Stacy. I still actually think I think all the girlfriend drama is actually a bit of that's the red herring where it's yes, he is talking about Spider-Man like a jilted lover, but no, not because Kindred was one of Spider-Man's former lovers, because he was the father of one of his lovers.
Yeah, he feels like Spider-Man betrayed his daughter or something. Yeah,
where
I could see that.
You told me you'd protect Gwen, but Gwen is dead, and also you keep doing this with other women in your life. You keep bringing them in, and they keep getting hurt over and over again.
I could see that.
That'd be fun. And also, too, I mean, if they brought George Stacy back as a villain, everyone would be like, what? And
then immediately hate it because they're Spider-Man fans and they hate everything in the book.
Look, I just want everything to be the same, but not different. Is that too much to ask? For everything to be different, but also familiar?
I had that
weird line.
That's actually kind of like a good segue into my Daredevil review, because I had that on there. It's this is all too different. He needs to be in his red costume swinging across the skyscrapers, and it's not what Daredevil is, but okay.
And also, here's the thing. What Daredevil's doing now that I've lost all hope, I quit being Daredevil, yada, yada, yada. He does this every 5 to 10 years, too. It's just this time no one outed his identity to get him to this point, which actually makes it fresh and interesting and new.
And not just that, the characters he's surrounded by in these recent issues with Cole North, the Stormwinds, Wilson Fisk, they're all interesting, have interesting stories going for them.
Man, I loved when Daredevil finally came face-to-face with Kingpin again, because they've been apart for the first half of this series, and the fact that they couldn't have their minds on two completely different things.
Oh yeah, Kingpin's just obsessed that Daredevil is back and he's gonna get killed by the city, whereas Matt just wants to see if he's innocent.
The first words out of Kingpin's mouth are so perfect when he sees Daredevil again. No, that's the first one. No, just no. And also, too, that, Kingpin's a little pissed at Daredevil. It's really, you're still just thinking about Hell's Kitchen. You're still... Man, I'm playing three-dimensional chess. You're playing checkers. And it's also a thing, too, of okay, they met up this time and couldn't do anything for each other. But when they meet up again, maybe they'll finally know, oh, we haven't been fighting two different enemies. We've actually all been fighting the same enemy.
I think that might be where it's headed, because obviously, Wilson has been slighted by the storm winds, and Matt and all that are now on their radar as well. So I can just see them having to team up, and not only that, having to team up with maybe like Cole North as well. Like all these stories are just going to start converging.
Yeah, love it to death. Again, Zdarsky, untouchable, one of the best Daredevil runs in years. It's getting a ton of favorable comparisons to Bendis's original Daredevil run, which again is like, you know, top 5 greatest runs of all time for the character, and that's pretty goddamn good. Especially because the 2 Wade runs and the Soul run were good on their own too.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, and that this one's already like, yep, this is already like up here. That's some good ass shit. Did you have anything else? Because I basically talked about everything.
I don't think so. No, I don't believe I did.
Alrighty then, and then I guess we can start winding the show down. That's almost been exactly an hour 30 as I sit and look at the clock right now. How do we do that, Matt? I swear we don't plan it that way. So, yeah, everyone, that'll just about do it for us in another episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back again next week. As always, if you're a patron, you can see the show first before anyone else. We try and get video and audio versions up for everybody. And if you see the show live with us, like what we're doing right now, we'll also try and read your comments. I see D&G actually turned in some of his new Twitch points to get our attention. Around 24-hour period when Twitter tried to Zdarsky, but he cared. Oh yeah, that's right. Zdarsky came back stronger than ever after literally showing his ass on Twitter.
Yeah. Did you see that video Marvel put out about him? It was like a spotlight.
Yes.
They let him like do like the editing and everything, and it was just amazing.
Wildly creative. That dude is changing the game. You got other writers like trying to do the same stuff. And also, thank you, Party Pug, for the cheers too, as we begin to wind down the show. My favorite thing about Chip Zdarsky's ass is how everyone else was quick to use the Captain America's ass over and over. Now, that's Marvel's ass right there is what that is, and you will not defame it in any way. Dude, did you read Invaders? All right, everyone. And on that note, I don't think we can do anything better than that. Thank you for coming out and watching and listening. Always appreciated. We'll be back again next week, same time. So, yeah, be ready for that then.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.